My name is Jean Jordan. I live in South New Jersey, and I'm very much concerned about any more LNG projects. I'm opposed to the Department of Energy approving any new LNG proposals, and there's a lot of reasons. First of all, financial. If the United States has more LNG and they're selling it overseas, it's going to end up costing Americans more money. And I'm on a fixed income. I can't afford to pay more for electricity or natural gas, and many other people will feel the same way. Another problem is that transporting LNG is very dangerous. Whether it's a train car or trucks, if there's a spill from an accident, the LNG can escape. And if there's any flame or open fire nearby, the LNG will actually explode like a bomb. And obviously, we don't want trucks and railroad cars going through our communities with the chance of this kind of catastrophe. Lastly, but most important, is the environment. The United States is already in a climate crisis. More LNG would make that worse. LNG, during the processing, emits dangerous methane into the atmosphere. So the more LNG, the more methane we have. The more LNG, the more problems. It's important that the Department of Energy does not approve any new LNG proposals.
My name is Jim Stewart. I live in National Park, New Jersey for about 30 years, so I'm familiar with a lot of the pollution issues and other issues that have been going on for the last 30 years probably. I can start reading it now if you want.
Sure.
Record heat waves, rising water levels, extreme weather events, including droughts and wildfires, are all symptoms of the climate crisis. Yet the primary cause of these events is the use of fossil fuels and natural gas. They continue to be extracted, and our federal agencies continue to approve infrastructure to prolong their use. The Gibbstown Logistics Center, which is a liquefied natural gas export facility, is a prime example. Not only is the facility a danger to global warming, it is a danger to the residents of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Delaware River Partners plans to transport LNG by rail and or by truck 150 miles from Wyalusing, Pennsylvania. These two means of transport over this distance has never been done before, and they create an extreme danger to all the residents near these routes. Hundreds of trucks per day and 100 rail cars per day are proposed. The trucks will use Route 295 from the PA Turnpike or the Commodore Barry Bridge, while rail cars will cross the Delaware Bridge and proceed south through many towns from Camden, Woodbury, West Deptford, Hallsborough, and Gibbstown. All other LNG export facilities in the nation receive natural gas by pipeline. Many people say we need jobs. We do need jobs, not just dangerous jobs to promote the continued use of fossil fuels over renewable energy. The continued extraction of fossil fuels needs to be stopped now. My third legislative district representatives recently have told me the health and safety of New Jersey residents remains the legislature's top priority. I say the health and the safety of all Americans should be the priority. Thank you.
Well, I think all you have to do really is read about what the dangers are. When I lived in West Deptford, there was a railroad track less than 2 miles from my home. And then I learned about the possibility of the Gibbstown what do you call it, a dock, where they were going to bring these big ships and export it, and it would be going right by my home practically.
That scared you?
And that scared me enough to start reading about it, LNG. And I did a lot of research on it, being a university librarian, and I saw this was no good. Well, yes, there were so many different aspects to the dangers. There would be the fact that it is, if there's an accident, it can be catastrophic. When there's a train that even gets a little leak, I found out the explosion could be humongous, I mean really big. So not just at the train track, but also at the dock in Gibbs, which was supposed to be in Gibbstown. I've seen pictures of the ships, and the ships had huge, they were just big, really big, and they're talking about docking this and sending trains filled with this stuff right through a very populated area of the country. And then I started reading about not just the dangers, and they have had explosions, so in my opinion, accidents are guaranteed to happen at some point because things happen. But also the chemicals that are used or created during the process of fracking the gas even are very bad for the environment. Basically, LNG is methane. It's highly explosive, and it's very bad for the climate. I mean, really, there's nothing good about it. There's so many poisons that are benzene, what is it, ethyl benzene or something like that, that are byproducts of the process of fracking. And I mean, I know what benzene is like because it caused my mother's cancer. She worked with it. So these are not good chemicals to have in any process. But then just the fact that an explosion that is so quick with just a little leak in a train, and it would probably kill a good number of people in the neighborhood. So that of course, and I'm not very big on the climate change issue, and I do think it would make the climate chaos increase at a faster rate, and we don't even need it. This country, they're talking about just exporting it. This country does not need it, and the investors in it are just out there for the money. You know, they know a lot of this too, but they just want the money. So instead of putting the money and the time and the research into green energies, people want to continue with this stuff. I think it's pretty much a catastrophe waiting to happen. I do keep track of the pollution in this area of the country, and we have huge amounts of pollution, particulate matter in the air, and this would only make it much worse, such as, well, not to mention carbon dioxide, but the N-hexane. I don't even know what these chemicals are except the benzenes. I know them. So I look at the particulate matter in the air online every day, and I know that this will make it much worse if we keep using this kind of fuel. So it's just unneeded, and accidents from LNG have happened, and the transport of LNG in our neighborhoods there's going to be an accident, because we have train accidents, we have all kinds of things, and having those big ships across from Philadelphia, it's insane, and it's really not good for humanity in general. And I'm doing this because I have a child, and I do not want my child to end up with the result from all this.
So we know that we need a rapid and just transition from all fossil fuels, including oil, coal, and natural gas, to clean renewable energy here in Philly, throughout the US and throughout the world as quickly as possible. And I and many people in the organizations that I work with have been opposed to the expansion of LNG exports, both in our local area where there are plans to build export terminals, where there are plans to ship dangerous LNG right through our city in extremely dangerous so-called bomb trains that would endanger our residents. And I oppose the construction of new LNG export terminals anywhere in the country. Yeah, so as the recent DOE study indicated, there's no way that we can expand the production and use of liquefied natural gas and meet our climate goals to stay within, certainly within 1.5 degrees centigrade global warming, I think, or even 2 degrees. It's just simply not compatible. Like, expanding fossil fuel infrastructure is not compatible with a livable future. The use of LNG entails massive number of methane leaks at every stage in the process, from extraction to processing to liquefaction to revaporization, all along the way. Expanding the export of LNG will help to lock other countries into an unsustainable energy path by getting them to be more dependent on fossil fuels instead of renewable energy. It will endanger our safety, and it will raise the prices for heating our homes and all the other things that we're currently using natural gas for here in Philadelphia.
Creating more LNG export facilities is the wrong direction for our country and our state. We've seen time and time again how liquid natural gas harms communities. It's incredibly volatile, and we need, in order to tackle the climate crisis, to be cutting back on fossil fuel extraction. We need to stop it. We need to be transitioning to clean, renewable energy. LNG is not the way forward, and it's not part of the future we want to build.
My assessment is that we've got plenty of liquefied natural gas and we don't need any more of it. We're experiencing a climate emergency. We need to be scaling down fossil fuel production rapidly, and if we are adding new export terminals, that just means that we're going to be making more fossil fuels to export, and we need to be scaling up our renewables, decreasing our energy demand overall, and more exports of LNG is just heading us in the wrong direction, threatening our health, our safety, and our sustainable future that we need to be working toward.